everyone, it's Val, and welcome back to Tolkiencraft II, The Labors of Valentine, End of the Day Tour. Right, so we find ourselves on the upper terrace. I've decided to call them terraces. And as you can see, these new trees actually have very interesting vines. And I call them very interesting because they grow very fast. They look different because they're from Lord of the Rings. And we are getting them growing down the side in various locations and spreading. So I'm going to let them do what they want. I want to see what it ends up looking like. I probably will leave them, but I want to see what the natural process is going to produce because it could be something quite cool. So since I like them, I decided to go around to our existing mirkwood trees and add it to them. I still have to kind of do it around the outside edge of the base. Because all of these are from before that was a thing, and they need additional leaves as well. In fact, I'm going to take a quick moment to make a note to that effect, so I don't forget, because I was going to do it earlier and I didn't. Vines on outside base. Okay. Right, sorry. I was trying to avoid that sort of thing. Right, so we just have to let them grow and see how they look. And I did do it on the inside of the base down there. Okay, off camera, I went around and I added a whole bunch of vases in various strategic locations. A few on the parapet, some in the inner walkways, in all of the towers, in the stairwells, in the shops. I went through, I think, about 2 stacks, possibly more than that, of vases, so there's a lot of vases. But you won't see, like, I tried not to put them so that they're everywhere, in the sense of you can't go anywhere without seeing one, but I wanted them enough that, because to me they're kind of being used for things like cigarette butts and spittoons, and if they're in bedrooms, perhaps for urgent midnight bathroom visits, you know, hopefully they wash them quickly. But that's why I have them so widely available, because they're basically their garbage cans, in a sense. Right, so the tower. How much did we get done on the tower? Well, a fair amount, actually. I am quite happy to say. In fact, it makes sense to start on the lower terrace, showing you what I did. This didn't have any changes made to it from the last time I showed you, aside from the addition of a broom cabinet, because I needed to do that. And we're going to start going up, because down here we haven't got to this part yet. It's not partitioned off into rooms. And the way that I set this up for the end of the day tour actually quite nicely shows the building process, which I didn't really show. Oh, we just went past the first one. Alright, so we partitioned this one off here into a little area. It's probably going to... I have decided that for the lower 2/3 of the tower, they are going to have their own private kitchens. So there's still the kitchen level that is available at the top of the second terrace. But to me, because of the size of it, it's mostly the people in the upper tower that will be using it, because they definitely don't have any kitchens. And the people here, if they want to use it, they can, or they can cook in their own area. The thing is, they do have to carry all their supplies up by hand. There is no dumbwaiter system for them. So it's entirely up to them what they want to do. Right. So the actual purpose for each of these rooms is still up for grabs, but there's going to be a lot of bedrooms. There'll probably be a living area, and except for the upper third of the tower, which we aren't at yet, there will be, like I said, a little kitchen and a tiny dining area for the apartment. We'll call them apartments. But you can see that this one has a decent amount of rooms, counting that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 7 bedrooms. So this one actually is for either a very large family or possibly even a shared accommodations between two families that are related, depending on how the elves want to do it. But you can see what I've done is I lay out the rooms first, and then I decide where the doors are going to go. And I was hoping to make them fairly similar, and they are, but they're not as similar as I'd hoped in terms of layout for these next three, this floor and the two above it. And that is because the stairwells, being a little different on each floor, basically forced small changes in the layout. Right, so here's the next floor. This one has slightly less in terms of availability for rooms. I believe it has 6. It's got this one over here, which will probably be a kitchen, a dining area, and probably the living room area as well, all combined into one. And then we'll have some more bedrooms when you come into here. You'll notice that I made the hallways in the actual flat itself 3 wide, and I wanted to do that so it didn't feel so cramped when you're walking up and down the hallway. And this one has, I believe, 6 rooms in it, not counting the living area. So up to 6 rooms that can be bedrooms. Right, so then you go up to the next floor, and this is the one that I have put put all the walls in. And you may be noticing I did put cracked brick in all these, so we are proceeding on that as well. So this one, I actually have a narrow 2 wide corridor here until you get into the house proper. And that I think is okay, because that's just, it's basically they have an entryway that the others didn't have. And you can come in here. I mean, if I really wanted to, I could probably basically adjust the design of these 2 rooms to eliminate this hallway and make more space, but it made sense to do it this way when I was setting it out. And it makes this one have less rooms. It has 5, I think. So 1, 2, 3, 4, yeah, 5 bedrooms. So it's a little smaller, but it's also more spacious than the other ones. So this actually, to me, is in the center tower, is center layer of the central tower, is the prime flat to have, because not only is it more spacious, assuming your family will fit into it, of course, it also has this nice little entryway, and 1 floor up, you have access to the upper terrace with a little break room that we've set up. You know, some snacks, you can get some tea here, but if you want a proper meal, you'll either have to eat at home or go down to the main dining area. So yeah, that definitely to me is the prime, unless you're the person running the castle, or this space I should say, they will have the best place, but aside from them, that to me is the prime floor to have, given a choice. And then we get up into the more cramped accommodations. These to me are more for people that are, or elves that have just recently been married. They don't have children yet. They're just starting out. And this one actually is a shared not shared accommodation. You might have a couple of children, but either your importance in the hierarchy isn't as high, or you just don't need the room, so you are in the upper part of the tower. And for the narrative of this tower, I'm saying that these floors in the upper third were originally intended for storage, which in fact is what I originally intended to do. However, as time came on and more elves moved to the base, they decided to partition up these storage areas into actual living quarters, and that is why you see something you'd see very seldom in other. Actually, I think I pretty much avoided everywhere else in the base. Here, you're actually seeing stairwell corner pillars appearing inside these little hallways, and that's something I've avoided doing because, to me, those rooms were planned from the beginning to look like that. These were not. These used to be storage areas, and that's why they don't really have much in the way of windows. The occasional one they were able to punch a hole through and put in a window. but pretty much most of them don't have windows. At least, that's what I seem to remember. We did put a lot of windows in the tower, and it looks really cool from the outside now. And actually, now that we're up here, I think I can turn off the night vision so you can see the natural lighting of the rooms. And of course, every one of them has access somewhere to their own facilities for keeping their area clean. So this one obviously belongs to a newly married couple. Looks like they were having a nice romantic snack of strawberries, possibly feeding them to each other. And over here we have, oh look, looks like a ring, possibly a present for the new spouse, the wife, probably. And a nice little decoration there. So yeah, I'd say this is probably a newlyweds flat. Or possibly it's just been set up for them and they haven't actually gotten married yet, but they will be soon. That'll be cool. Alright, so the next floor up. Yeah, this one is even more tight, so they had to put the broom closet out here. Obviously, they kind of ran out of room inside. At least the mop's in there. Hi! Sorry. I'm just showing off your house. I hope you don't mind. Obviously, somebody's already moved in here. They have a little alcove here for a tiny, tiny snack table. And, oh, looks like they have one child. And the master bedroom is just as cramped, but what can you do? Used to be storage rooms. I guess you're exchanging a cramped bedroom here for a little bit of a sitting area out here that's private. So that's not too bad, I guess. And then the next floor up is the top, and we have a nice little seating area here so you can have a seat and look out the balcony railings without actually having to stand at them. That's kind of nice. But other than that, I think we're done for showing off the rooms. So I'm very pleased with how the central tower internals are working out. Whoops, I'm falling. And what time of day is it? I was hoping it would be nightfall so that we could see the actual upper part of the tower, because it looks pretty cool at night. But I thought it was getting dark. But who knows? I had my night vision on. I think it is getting darker, because I'm starting to see lighting. Alright, well, I just wanted to talk about the outside of the tower. If you notice now, as we go around, you can see there's a lot of windows that I punched in that didn't disturb the design that I placed on the outside. And some of them, they're all 3 high, but where they're located in the part of the wall varies from section to section. So it's not as symmetrical as the towers were set up to be, because you'll notice that they're much more symmetrical. But I think it really still works for the tower, and to me, it makes the outside of the tower look more alive, because you actually have these windows where there's light spilling out. Well, at least on the floors that I've done. So yeah, it is getting darker here. So let me see, is there anything else I wanted to talk about while we wait for it to get a little darker and for you to see the tower as it looks now with the upper third lit properly internally since it's done. Well, I think about the only other thing I can really talk about in terms of the base is the fact that once we finish doing the internals of the tower, the living quarters, then I still have the cracked brick to do on the inside and outside walls and the upper parapets. Or did I do the upper parapets? No, I didn't. The cracked brick I'm seeing is from what I did on the inside that happened to be shown on the outside. And we're getting pretty close to being done, because once those 2 tasks are finished, the central tower living quarters, the cracked brick out for the walls, then it'll be time to start tearing out the tech. And I'll be starting with the central tower and pulling out and finishing the reception area, which means the Thaumcraft area will be coming out, as well as the blood magic. And once I've finished doing that, then we'll be moving probably to the basement and finishing up the storerooms that were affected by the blood magic stuff. And then we'll be moving over to the central, my 2 floors that are affected by my tech, which is the inn and the civilian dormitory. We will most likely be starting on the inn floor with leaving the bare minimum of tech there, which would basically be the AE system, and possibly a power source, just so that I can keep using it while I tear out the level above it, which is the Draconic Battery. I'll be sad to see that go, because we have over 14 trillion RF in it. But it's getting almost time for that. Alright, so it's not getting that much darker. I had hoped to show you a little bit more of the lighting. I guess we'll see it another day. You did have an idea of what it looked like, but not as much of one as I'd hoped, if it would actually get darker faster, but it's not. And I am running out of things to talk about. Just want to remind you, though, that on Friday at 8 p.m. MDT is the Vals Patron Games. So if you are a current patron, I encourage you to see if you can make a spot in your schedule for it, because I'd love to see you there. And for those of you who are not patrons, I encourage you to come by and watch and see us all play Minecraft Bingo, and see if I can crush the opponents again, or if, as usual, I get crushed. Yeah, me getting crushed is probably the more likely outcome. Alright. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this end of the day tour, and I hope to see you in the stream sometime. Of course, now it's getting dark. Of course. Oh, now it's thundering. Okay, I'm going before, I get struck by lightning because I'm in there. So, you guys take care, and I will see you later. Bye.